A disappointing report came out of the University of Connecticut this week showing that job growth in the state will be weak in coming up next year, only gaining about 7,000 jobs by the end of 2012. So how do you find a job in a climate like this? The president of IIPE Executive Research has some ideas for us today. Karen Russo joins us now with more. Karen, good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
As we wind down 2011, what are you seeing with the overall jobs climate as we move toward 2012?
I think it's going to be similar to 2011.
Which is frustrating for job seekers.
It is. There's been a little bit of a bump up. Our experience was we had a slow 2011 at the beginning, and it ended a little strong. So we feel optimistic, but I think it's going to be a lot of the same climate.
There's so many contributing factors to this. We were talking earlier about so many things at play. For example, small businesses, which really have been the hiring engine in the U.S. economy, are really kind of at a standstill now, aren't they?
They are. I mean, they are the largest job creators historically. Unfortunately, with lack of funding from banking, there has not been as many jobs out there, and they have not, and therefore small businesses have not been able to flourish and grow, and startups haven't occurred. There's also the other problem is that when companies are restructuring, there's a lot of skill gaps that are going on, and geographical issues that come up that make it difficult for for those people that are unemployed to seek new employment, even though those jobs might be available.
For example, like relocations. Mm-hmm. You can't really relocate if you can't sell your house.
Correct.
Or if the corporation isn't willing to buy your house.
Right, and nobody's going to buy a house these days.
Yeah, so it's very difficult. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some of the areas. There are some areas where there is some job growth, aren't there?
There are. The fastest growing areas, of course, healthcare continues to be huge. And that could be anything from healthcare technology to professional nurses, aides, home healthcare workers. Another area that's really big is the international trade experts, people who have either worked abroad or have educational or knowledge in the international market. So they have experience with finance, tax codes, they have experience with environmental or ethical issues abroad, or work regulations. And of course, we have a big deficit amongst the scientific population in the United States. So engineering, nanotechnologists, biologists, molecular engineers, those people are well sought after.
Which sounds like for young people out there, getting a college education, if you possibly can afford it, is essential.
Yes.
As the job market is shifting now, we're getting away from manufacturing, we're getting into these more high-skilled jobs.
It is a more highly skilled arena out there. But that said, the technical trades, the labor market is dwindling in the technical trades area. So baby boomers are retiring, and it's opening up doors for machinists and for technical trades. And but going back to your original thought of what's going on with those people who are getting college educated, the engineering area, the digital area, the healthcare area, those would be really great areas.
Let's talk about the individual out there who is looking for work. Some people, it's been a couple of years now, it's really been very frustrating. How often do they reassess their resume, and what should they be doing in addition to that?
As far as your resume, the resume is a really important document. It's a strategic document that needs to have the right kind of content in it. A lot of people write their resume like a job description, and that's wrong. You want to stand out. You want to be able to tell a story about how you impacted an organization. So the resume should have metrics. It should have statistics in it that will quantify what you did for that organization. And then also you need to communicate how you can translate that into the next company. Why should somebody hire you? What's going to be the benefit in them bringing you on board? So a resume really needs to speak to those kinds of things. And very often people will write their resume according to what their job description is.
In other words, when you say metrics, in other words, show if I was in sales, I brought in $2 million in sales in 2009. I expect to do XYZ for your corporation.
I expect to do the XYZ is is part of the conversation when you get into that
Okay,
interview,
but
or part of your cover letter, which would be a good idea as well. You can sometimes translate it into, here are my accomplishments and here are the things that I feel that, would be necessary for the opportunity that I'm applying for. So for example, if it is sales, I increased revenue or productivity by X percent. We impacted the organization by a restructuring and, things like that.
What about just kind of understanding the climate in terms of how you yourself as an applicant may have to change? How important is that?
Well, the mindset is different now, and what I've seen is that people have a resistance to change. So you have to adopt a mentality around accepting change, and that's fundamental in this new economy. And with that goes along with adopting a continual learning process. So as you're going through your career, really investigating, researching what best practices are out there within your career, and what you can do to enhance your skill set is really important. Your toolkit is critical nowadays, and I think that people need to start to think more forward about what is it that I can learn. Education, attend association meetings, stay really current on those things that would enhance your profession.
All right, Karen Russo, good having you on the program.
Thanks.